You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday of getting back at you.
We're living in a very dangerous time right now, and liberalism has lost their cotton-picking mind.
The Trump folks, if they found out how we knew what we knew about the Trump staff's dealing with Russians, that they would try to compromise those sources and methods.
Nobody ever said anything about resisting Obama. They went at him on legitimate arguments.
I really do believe that much of what you saw coming out of Trump's mouth was a play from Putin's playbook.
Welcome to the Abolitionists Roundtable, your all-access pass to exposing fake news, the resistance, and Barack Obama's shadow government undermining American progress. Be a part of the conversation at 734-822-1600. And now, your all-American hosts, Del Marsh and Phil Stargell.
Greetings, folks. Thank you for joining the Abolitionists Roundtable. A talk show like no other. We have a lot on the agenda today. Folks, when I was preparing the agenda, it's so much that's going on. And we have, once you take out your commercial tax, we have about 50 minutes in total. And there's so much that you want to squeeze in, and then you want to try to set the table. You want to present, your all these different points of view. To show that all this, that some of the propaganda media is trying to lead us towards, but we can see for the last 7 or 8 months that it's led towards nothing at all. And so, again, greetings. We're going to try to just kind of touch on as many subjects as we can, but unfortunately, for time's sake, I really wanted to really get into this email that went on, this email exchange that went on with Donald Trump Jr. But I mean, if we're going to litigate that over the show, I mean, we really have to show all the evidence, because this is where we at right now is it's bigger than what we anticipated. It's bigger than what we thought. The news media is still trying to grow something into a snowball that's not a snowball. That's not even a ball at all. That's not even, don't even have any movement. Of course, we know from the last 7 or 8 months, but they want to continue to try to build something because they hate, number one, they hate what we have here. They hate this constitutional republic. They always have from the beginning. They're the loyalists. These are people that hated this country from the beginning. That hatred never changed. It never got sidelined. They've always been there. They're still there today. And so today is worse than ever, because now it's the news media that's trying to lead this for the Democrat Party. And boy, they trying to stay right behind them, but they can't win elections. But then you ask the question, okay, we know that they hate, we see their talking points, for the last 7 or 8 months, and the goal is to destroy Trump, because they hate that Make America First inspired vision that he have. They want to destroy Western values. We heard that after he did an awesome speech in Poland. We heard all the pundits, Phil, come out and say that was a white nationalist speech.
Yep.
That was a speech, that was this Western values that he's talking about. Those are white Christian values. Yeah. I mean, they come up with all this to keep defaulting back to that. What you're hearing from here is white nationalism.
And have you heard anybody in the Republican Party defend Trump's policies?
Well,
these should be the policies of the United States. What Trump is putting out there. Those are the 200-year history of the policies of the United States, and they have turned it into, because Trump is saying them, they're turning it into some kind of a white power, nationalist, racist policy.
Yeah, and they believe that this is what's going to get them back in the White House. It's not gonna help them at all.
Well, I'm not so sure of that. You know why? Because I told you last week that I had watched the Watergate hearings, and there was a lot of stuff that they had to do to turn people against Nixon, because Nixon won 49 states. I mean, they came in at Trump because he didn't win the popular vote. But they tried to say he was illegitimate before he even walked into the office.
Oh, absolutely, they did.
And they had started this nationalist and this alt-right nonsense, all of this white nationalist.
Well, hold on. Last week we just heard the Muslim propagandist. She said that, folks, this is not normal. The people that we see in the White House, this is not normal. They shouldn't be there. She called him called it a white nationalist. These are racists, that are in the highest office right now in the land. But here, let me just go back for a minute.
Before you go on, notice again that nobody came to his defense in the Republican Party.
Well, I was leading towards that. But go ahead and finish.
And by that, what they're saying is that what she's saying is to their liking. They are not going up and saying, wait a minute, you are talking about elevating the concept of Sharia law in this country, and that is absolutely
against our values.
And it is racist, sexist, and everything else, homophobic, everything else.
Yeah. You're right about that. Yeah, she said that I hope that you stand up with those who are in opposition of those who oppress our communities, that Allah accept this from us as a form of jihad, that we are struggling against a tyrant and rulers, not only abroad in the Middle East and other sides of the world, but here in these United States of America, where we have this, man, this is so far over the top. I mean, and so you're talking about trying to bring America together. See, this is typical liberalism right here. They call him a fascist. These are white supremacists, and these are Islamophobics reigning in the White House.
Yeah.
Phil, you know how over the top that is. Now, I've said a lot of things about Barack Hussein Obama. Absolutely, I did. But this right here, this is stirring up, and the liberals, they don't have a problem with her at all. They don't. They want to lead our nation.
And she's proceeding to get people to direct their anger at Trump.
Oh Lord. I mean, this. You talking about this kind of speech right here will put hatred in the heart of the people that's listening to her. This is real hatred right here. I mean, real hate right here.
What they accuse us of.
Yeah. And so let me go back for a minute. So of course they want to destroy President Trump, Donald Trump, but they want to destroy Western values and American values. They want to move on from this right here.
And they've done a very good job of it. They have done it.
Yeah. Phil, we are in an area where, wow, man, how can we come back from this right here, really?
What we have to, in my estimation, is like the commentary by Theron the other day.
Yeah.
The people that were activists in getting the majority in the Congress and the Senate and in the presidency, those people had to come out and just be determined to tell people we're not going to tolerate that kind of rhetoric to be accepted by not only the people on the left, but the people on the right, because they're sitting by and just allowing it to happen and allow people to form these opinions about the President of the United States about stuff that are the traditions of this country. What he said is the traditions of this country. Mm-hmm. What she says is a person that is trying to break those traditions down.
Absolutely, but see, you got to remember that for some on the left, that's normal. They believe in this right
exactly
here.
Right.
And these are and it's not just people that's on the left, but these are the never Trumpers, the elites. These are I was just watching something where it's people that hate. I'm talking about the hatred of the police now.
Yeah.
I mean, the police is under fire like never before. We seen, was it last week, a police officer was ambushed, Phil, in New York City, and the mayor did not stand with the police officers at all.
No, he was over somewhere in France. Somewhere in England or somewhere.
Trying to undermine who? Trying to undermine President Trump. And so now I go to what would you ask Republicans, where are you? Why are you not leading the way? Why is it? It don't have to be all of them, but at this point, this is an opportunity for one person to stand up right now and explain our heritage, protect our heritage, protect our culture, and protect our values. Somebody have to stand up, got to come out of this. This is an opportunity for somebody that's seeking 2024 or beyond, because and say, you know what, I can't just stand by any longer and watch this go on, this destruction of our values, destruction of our culture.
Well, the reason why I am saying that what needs to be done is the people that got the majority, got us the majority. They're being let down in a way that I've never been, I've never seen it before in this country. I've never seen how somebody could win an election and have the majority, and all of the agenda of the opposition party is being succeeded. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is unprecedented. What's going on? Trump runs on building a wall. Where are the starts of building this wall? This wall should have been halfway built by now, according to the ability in this country to build things. That wall should have been started. Actually, it should have been started a long time ago before Trump even got in here. The money was appropriated, and it was a law passed to say that the wall should be built. And yet and still, what's going on? We haven't got it because the Democrats are successful in keeping the agenda from going forth. And the only way he could do that is with the cooperation of, guess what, the Republican Party. Mm-hmm. So now we have got to, that's why I say the people that got Trump elected, they're going to have to stand up and demand that these people do what they said that they were going to do and do what the correct thing is, and that is follow the Constitution and get the things done that are supposed to be done.
Yeah, I feel, and I'm with you on that. We can see that just there's not a lot of backbone right now in the Republican Party. But hold that thought for a minute, Derek. We're gonna go to a break. After we come from the break, I'm gonna read a couple of headlines. We're gonna answer some of our calls, and we're gonna continue with the show. All right, see you on the other side of the break.
This is the Abolitionists Roundtable on WAAM TALK1600. Join in the conversation at 734-822-1600. And now, back to your hosts, Del and Phil.
Great. Thank you for joining the Abolitionists Roundtable. Here, we get up early in the morning because we want to present as much, we just like the Sunday shows. I know many of us watch the Sunday shows, and Sunday shows is to offset, to get, they try to, speak about some of the things that what happened all week, but also they try to lead a narrative for the news for the week. And so, right when we come in at the end of the week, we have to disseminate all the things that's happening, and man, they happening at the speed of light. And here, and we're going to get into, really want to get into this Donald Trump Jr. exchange with with this Goldstone. But here I want to just mention, I got a couple of stories I want to mention that, because we gotta have all the above. Now we got to deal with this, and we have to deal with a whole lot of other things. And so this is from the Hill. It says Venezuela Russian deal threaten U.S. energy security. It says recent recent news that Venezuela may soon default on a $1.5 billion loan from Russia state oil company Rosneft. And once again, this could be a danger to our foreign policy. This happened now. This loan exchange happened under Barack Hussein Obama in 2006. Now, Venezuela, of course, we know that they have all these oil companies right here in America, and so they own Citgo. Now, with the Russians, they got this loan from them, and the loan is 49.9% of their shares in Texas-based subsidiary Citgo, and we know that Citgo includes 3 of their oil refineries. They have 48 terminal facilities, and they have multiple pipelines across 24 states across the United States. So we got to be concerned with. We want to keep this on our radar, that Venezuela borrowed, Phil, $1.5 billion from the Russians, from a Russian bank. But if now, this is a state-run. Of course, we know that their oil is state-run. We know that they got the 3rd largest oil reserve in the world. We've been talking about this in the last few weeks. I looked up this again on the president of Venezuela, a little bit more of his background. That I told you that he was a former bus driver. He had no education in economics, no education in government or anything like that.
You don't need them to be a socialist.
You don't need that. And where did he get his training from? He got his training from, he was a community organizer. He was a community organizer, and he got his training from Cuba. He went to Cuba and got his official training and came back to Venezuela. And, of course, he ran the military for a while and elevated himself up to this position. So we have people that feel unlimited resources that don't know how to get those resources to the people and don't know how to, disseminate the resources to run their country at all.
But see, the thing is, and this is what they want here, this is the whole key of it.
They want the chaos?
They do not care about managing the resources. They want to manage the people. And they are the ones that benefit from managing the people. As long as you can keep them voting for you, you don't care too much about it. Now, how would people in Venezuela continue to vote for this guy? Why don't they put him out? Well, look what's going on. They took all the guns. They ain't got no guns.
That's right.
So you can't mount a revolution, and there is no bank that is solvent there because the government is insolvent. They can't even pay $1 billion back to the Russians.
That's right.
Now, you run in the country with the third largest oil things. See, the whole thing is, as long as you can manage the people, you can stay in power. And that's what they're doing. They don't care nothing about managing the resources, and they sure don't care about feeding their own people.
Wow. So this is now all right. I just wanted to make sure that we knew about this right here. So this is something that the President Trump is going to have to deal with. This is something that we're going to have to watch right here.
Again, there are forces that want that here. That's what the whole thing about the health care is. You get the health care. You got Social Security. You got all of these government programs. The government expands bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you start to make things like they're doing in England with this little boy.
Yeah.
The government is just telling those parents.
That's right.
They can't leave the country and take that boy somewhere, right? And they got $1.5 million worth on the GoFundMe thing. They don't have the ability to leave there, even though everybody always says that the rich people in London got their own health care. Well, look, I would assume $1.5 million is rich, compared to what they were.
Oh yeah, that can extend this. I mean, if it extended his life a day, that's a blessing. If it extended a month, a year, that's a blessing. But you're right.
The government said no.
The government did say no. Absolutely, the government did say no.
So that's what it is. What I say that socialist, communist countries have got to manage people. They don't care about managing resources.
All right, folks, we'll see you on the other side of the break. Give us a call, 734-822-1600. We'll see you in a few minutes.
You're listening to the Abolitionists Roundtable with your hosts, Del and Phil. They're exposing the left's underground resistance while leading the charge in the fight for liberty. Join the conversation at 734-822-1600.
Hello, I'm Milt, and this is Logically Speaking Uncensored. We, the people, are the government. Daily, Americans argue and complain about what the encompassing entity called the government is or is not doing. However, if you ask people to put a face on the so-called government, very few will have the correct answer. However, the answer resides in the first three words of the United States Constitution: we, the people. The three words, we the people, emphasize and prioritize people as the essential fiduciaries of governance and controllers of elected officials and politicians, with the authority to command what they can do and cannot do. But the felonious derelictions of we the people to exercise our powers has allowed elected officials and politicians to fill the void by reversing the order of command and becoming miniature dictators who negate the will of the people by dictating laws and passing legislation against the will of the people. As the nation struggled to survive an onslaught of adversities, cultural rot, and anti-Americanism, the blame game of who should solve America's problems has been relegated to big brothers and sisters known as the government. But in 1863, on a Thursday afternoon in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, President Abraham Lincoln gave his historic Gettysburg Address, wherein he stated the importance of we the people when he declared America as the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, and it shall not perish from the earth. The esteemed phrase, we the people, is reserved exclusively for legal Americans who respect the flag and pledge of allegiance to the Judeo-Christian principles which form the fundamental foundation upon which America was founded. And if we do not want it to perish from the earth, We must be willing to fight for the values that have made it a shining light, committed to being one nation under God. Therefore, giving elected officials and politicians ruling powers over the people is tantamount to giving a tenant ruling powers over their landlord. If we the people had exercised control over the scandalous elected officials and politicians who rule us today, our borders would be secure, penalties against illegal immigration in sanctuary cities would be enforced, the military would be stronger, our schools would not be liberal indoctrination centers promoting antisocial behavior and fake gender normalcy, anti-American, antisocial behaviors would be curtailed, abortions would be diminished, Obamacare would be repealed, and patriotism would dominate. When you analyze the cultural and political dilemmas engulfing the United States, they can be traced to we the people who have forsaken our fiduciary obligations and allowed the elected officials and politicians, contrary to the Constitution, to become miniature dictators who dictate what is acceptable and what we can and cannot do. It is time we the people resume our constitutional authorities and powers over the elected officials and politicians and reverse the felonious corruption of the Constitution by rededicating America as the government of, by, and for the people. I am Milt, logically speaking, uncensored saying, think about it.
All right, Milt, you said think about it. You're right. That is something to think about. It says we the people are the government. We are the government, folks. We the people are the government. And so we got to get back to that. That's what Phil was just referring to, that and I understand, at the time when the Tea Party rose, some things, we got to understand that it rise at a time where that's when we needed it the most, and they rose up at a time where that's when we were really into this decline. And I know some of our brothers, that were in the Tea Party and patriots, they went back to their lives. But yeah, absolutely, we still want to make sure that we encourage each other when we can get together, and for a meeting, when we can get together. Also, we need to meet up in these town halls. But we want to encourage. I understand that some of the congressmen they met with anger. I'm talking about a lot of anger because they're being paid by leftists to go in there with with this anger to disturb these meetings. I mean, and just try to create all kind of chaos too. So, what you was gonna say, Phil?
No, nothing. I'm just really frustrated with the fact that when the Tea Party came into real notoriety, the media went on a blitz, and only thing that they could really say about the Tea Party people was that they were older, and older people tend to vote. Yeah. And that they were white.
That's all.
And that was some kind of way.
The same thing, same old talking point. Yeah. You see how liberals had the same, whether it's the media, they can keep the same talking point. They trying to tell you, like we saw this fake article that was ran a number of months ago, how we come to find out when the Huffington Post ran an article, they didn't know that the writer was not a black woman but was a white liberal male, saying that the white male shouldn't vote. And that's what they want to do. They want to feel they in the process of trying to change the whole demographic of this country. And they believe that if they change the demographic of this country, that they can be in a majority for the next 100 years,
exactly
next 200 years. And that's what they're working on right now. And that's what we're fighting against the most. That's why they're bringing people from all across the world, from some of the poorest countries on the planet, Phil.
Yep.
And not just that, and primarily the people they're bringing in, Barack Hussein Obama brought in, were people that they shared his value, and these are Muslims, because remember, it was him that said, it's his responsibility as president of the United States to fight against all negative stereotypes of Islam wherever they appear. So we're going to let's go and let's start trying to clear some of the lines. If you'd like to join the conversation, give us a call at 734-822-1600. We're going to go to Bruce from Grosse Pointe. Good morning, Bruce. Thanks for holding on, Bruce.
Oh, no problem, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great program as always. Listen, have you guys seen the National Rifle Association ad with Dana Lash?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great ad. Well, Black Lives Matter apparently has come up with a response to it, and it's the spokesperson is a professor of Pan-African Studies at Cal State, Los Angeles, by the name of Funmabila Fagmalola. Boy, isn't that a mouthful?
Oh, boy.
I'll tell you what. And what it does is basically it attacks, the NRA ad for inciting violence and all this sort of thing, and it rattles off a bunch of names of people who have been shot and killed, unfortunately, by police officers. And the thing is, first of all, the history of the National Rifle Association, if anybody is familiar with that, is that it was originally formed to protect black former slaves from the ravages of the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
Right, Phil?
Right.
That's right.
Exactly
That's
right.
Yeah, go to tell the truth.
And also another thing that the ad simply does not mention is that in the last 40 years, police shootings of black civilians has gone down by 75%.
Yeah.
And that's about the same percentage that a black young man would be susceptible to being shot by a black police officer.
Right. Now, they take the thing completely out of context, because if you recall, the final line of the ad is that Dana Lash says, "We must fight back against with the clenched fist of truth." And I guess the ad itself shows the symbol of the raised clenched fist with the word "resist" underneath it. And this is amazing, and all the usual suspects are coming out of the woodwork to denounce the ad and this sort of thing. Black Lives Matter is demanding they pull the ad and this sort of thing. And Dana Lash, to her great credit, has fired back and said this is nothing of the sort. It distorts the intent of it. Basically, we've got to resist the resistance. that type of thing. And that just shows you how screwed up things really are in this country.
Yeah.
To where we can allow a Soros-funded organization, which actually has been designated by none other than the Southern Poverty Law Center, as a hate group.
Well, the Southern Poverty Law Center, I got mixed feelings about them.
No, I don't have no mixed feelings.
My point
think they ought to be disbanded.
When a leftist-leaning organization like that comes out and calls the Black Lives Matter
I'm with you on that.
Something must be up.
Here, it's from the Abolitionist Roundtable Law Center. We designate them as a hate group. We don't even have to look at the Southern Poverty.
I agree completely, but like
because
I said,
they got a lot of our friends on there. They have a lot of our friends on there. They got pro-life groups on there. They got patriots on there, real patriots. People that stand up for traditional values, they have them on there.
Right.
People that stand up, they call up anti-abortion. We're not anti-abortion. We're about life. We're about protected life, all life. And,
all life, and especially folks that are being ravaged in their own community by lowlifes that think nothing about driving by a house like they did the other day over here on the east side and pumping 30 rounds into the building.
Yeah, and against the government being able to make a ruling like they made on that baby. What's that baby's name over there?
Charlie Gard. Yeah.
Charlie Gard.
Well, my understanding is an American doctor is going to be going over there to examine this poor little kid, and we can't allow this kid to have the plug pulled on him. Let his parents bring him to the United States, guys. They've got the money to do it.
Exactly.
How can a European judge say no, you can't do that because it may not work? Well, what if the procedure does work?
Well, I'll tell you this: if anybody wants that type of a medical care system in this country. They ought to be run out of this country and made to live in the countries that had those policies.
That's right.
And we'll start with Bernie Sanders.
Something like
That's
that
right.
already has happened here, Phil.
Yeah.
The woman's name is Terry Schiavo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yep, I remember that Terry Schiavo case too. Also, all right, Bruce, we want to clear some of the lines.
Thanks, guys, for the time.
Yeah,
we appreciate it, and we're having a Tri-County Liberty Coalition meeting next Saturday, the 22nd, over at the National Coney Island in Royal Oak, 12 Mile in Maine's 10 o'clock sharp. So Ron Edwards, I guess, is going to have an interesting announcement for everybody at the time. So I can't say anything more than that, but 10 o'clock sharp next Saturday morning, 12 in Maine, National Coney Island. Be there or be rectangular.
All right, thank you very much.
Take care, guys. I love you both.
Thanks, Bruce.
Love you too.
Okay,
all right.
Take care. Bye.
Take care. All right, Phil. All right, so here I want to go back. I want to just we passed something up real quick, Phil. We passed up how these people, liberals, on one hand, are they emboldened to protect life? No, they're not really emboldened to protect. They can care less about life. Like you said, we've seen this from the British government. They don't want to protect the child. If that child can get medical treatment and live one extra day, and it doesn't cost the government anything at all, like you say, they have a GoFundMe account for over $500,000, but it's not their call to say what they can and cannot do. But here, let me just say, right across the water, a Canadian government official said this is from the Blaze, abortion is the only tool to end in poverty.
Yeah.
Is the only tool to end in poverty. Phil, it used to be a saying that, that your offsprings were your blessing.
Your wealth is what they really are.
In the Bible, Holy Bible, it says in Psalms 127:3, it says, children are the inheritance of the Lord, and the fruit of your womb is your reward.
That's
so
right.
they're a reward to us.
Yeah.
What if we didn't have
would you run that again? What's the
and it says that children are the inheritance of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. It's his reward to you. So he gave you a reward, and the reason why they're a reward to us is that and here another one, it says, and this is the blessing. Therefore, Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel, and so our children are a blessing. Why are they a blessing? Because what if, we pray, as Christians, we pray as Jews, we pray, Lord, would you send the answer to this particular question right here? The answer to the cancer, the answer to poverty, the answer. And so God sent us the answer. And how did he send us the answer? He sent us Martin Luther King to address injustice at that particular time during his generation. He sent us during that, at that particular time, he sent us Abraham Lincoln to address injustice. He lost his life because of that right there. He sent us, a great woman, Margaret Thatcher, at a time where there was there was a woman. There was the rise of a great woman with a great voice, and we can say that she was a great voice of her generation. Well, but she came at a time and she had to come through a process, and it's called the heterosexual process. And she was the answer to our problems at the time. I can say that at the time. In Ann Arbor, on 1600, the Lord seen a need, and 70 years ago, he sent a guy named Phil Stargell. He did. Absolutely he did. Phil, and so that you can address people today. Whatever small part me and you play in this right here, we still have a part.
Yes, we do.
And we were born with a purpose. And he sent us here for a purpose. We had no idea that me and you were doing something else. But he already predestinated this right here to us, that this is what we were supposed to do.
And what we were supposed to do is bring out the fact that you notice that Hillary Clinton didn't get the vote of a lot of people because guess what? The drug laws that her husband signed, you remember that?
Yeah.
She didn't get a lot of votes.
The 3 strike laws, man, they was upset. Black Lives Matter, they were really upset.
That's right.
Because all their uncles and cousins and brother-in-laws, they were all in there. Of course, we know that.
Well, what about all of those cousins-in-law that have been aborted?
Yeah.
You know, they tell you that we had a lot of people put in jail because of those laws.
Yes.
But
on the other side,
what about that right to abortion law? That unlimited abortion law that we have now. Abortion on demand. That's what we got. And we just seen not Washington, but Oregon up the ante.
That's right.
You know, give it abortion on demand to anybody.
Everybody.
Even men. You know.
I couldn't believe they even put that in there. But here, this is what the liberals believe. They believe that children create poverty.
Yes.
That's what they believe. Children is the ones. They say how they end poverty is by aborting the children.
Yeah. So that makes it your idea. You see, the government is going to hide their hands just like Bill Clinton hid his hands and tried to get Hillary elected, you know, and enough people seen through that to keep her from getting elected. How many people are going to see through what the real reason for abortion is? That is what the original reason for abortion was, and that was to exterminate black people.
That's right.
Now, when will they come up to that that awakening? When will they awake to that fact?
Yeah.
But
they embrace Margaret Sanger today.
Sure.
They even call what you say about her propaganda.
But they'll tell you that Trump saying what he said it makes him a racist.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is Margaret Sanger?
And so, again, I just want to say, folks, I grew up, I can say I didn't grow up dirt poor, but I grew up poor. I grew up, you know, in downriver. I didn't have a lot of means, and you know, over time, you know, my dad saved his money and created a better life for us. But he never looked at me and my siblings as a hindrance.
That's right.
Man, heck no.
Yeah. Well,
he wanted to create a life for us.
I was so poor that you had to spell poor with 10 O's. Poor. So that, but we had five boys, 5 sons. You know, so
okay, boy, you know, it was 3 of us, 3 boys, 1 girl, my sister. And man, I'm gonna tell you though, we could eat the boys, man. When we were growing up, we could eat you out of the house and a home.
That's right.
My dad used to say, "Man, don't eat all the food up." He's trying to say something for tomorrow. Trying to say something to the end of the week, man. We just eat up everything. You boy, let it be summer, man. Just eat up everything, drink up Kool-Aid, have it all over, and then run back outside.
Yep.
You know, but this is where we at today. That people in government now see that to end poverty, and this is it. And they making up this right here. They say that this is about poverty. No, it's really about reallocating people and replacing people.
Exactly
right. They want to change regions. That's all they want. They want to change the complexity of nations. That's what they're in the process of doing. They bring in the poorest people from around the planet and putting them in these areas right here. Now, I don't have a problem with the poorest people from these areas. I don't have a problem with people from other nations at all. They come in and they want to inspire. They inspire themselves to have a better life for just
and what
like
I say
for
is
their family.
Change your country. Don't change this country.
Yes. And
Stay where you are and change your country.
oh boy, that's something that Linda Sassour, that's something that she need to know. We need to keep reminding her about that. So here, Phil, let's go to JB from Ann Arbor. Good morning, JB. How you doing?
Morning, fellas.
All right.
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank the Lord. You know, I'm up and about.
Amen.
And appreciate the program this morning. Just want to make a comment on sort of the theme and what Phil mentioned earlier about how the agenda is to manage people.
Yes.
And when he said that, I thought about what John Dingell said years ago. This stuck in my mind when they were trying to get the Affordable Care Act going there. And he said, we need to do this so we can control the people.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Oh, the cat came out the bag, huh?
That was not just a misspeak, a slip of the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
That came out of an agenda by that party. And so I don't want to think that we could ever end up like North Korea, you know.
Oh boy.
But that's a progression that could get us there, you know.
If the people lose control of their health care.
Anybody who even looks at the conditions in North Korea, you got to say none of that. We don't want that. You know, we don't want to go that way.
Well, that's why they're struggling so hard to take control of our health care. We got to stop them at all costs.
Yes. And I just want to read a quick quote, and then I'll be done here.
Okay, we got about 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, we got less than 30 seconds.
The first governor of the colonies here, he said, "We have noted these things so that you might see their worth and not negligently."
All right, I'm gonna have to cut you off there, folks. Go back next week, JB. Folks, we'll see you next week. Go to our website, artofmichigan.com. It was down for a little bit, but it's back up. Thank you. Bye bye.
Phil and Del at artofmichigan.com. You can also send emails to artofmichigan@hotmail.com. And most of all, continue to listen every Saturday and tell a friend.